Poets with whom I learn my trade, companions of the Cheshire cheese, here's an old story I ever made, imagining it would better please your cause than stories now in fashion. Though you may think I waste my breath, pretending that there can be passion, that has more life in it than death, and though at bottling of your wine, old wholesome Goban had no say, the moral's yours because it's mine. When cups went rounds at close of day, is not that how good stories run? The gods were sitting at the board, in their great house at Slievenamon. They sang a drowsy song, or snored, for all were full of wine and meat. The smoky torches made a glare, on metal Gobans hammered at, on old deep silver rolling there, or on some still unemptied cup, that he, when frenzy steered his thews, had hammered out on mountain top, to hold the sacred stuff he brews, that only gods may buy on him. Now from that juice that made them wise, all those had lifted up the dim imaginations of their eyes, for one that was like woman made, before their sleepy eyelids ran, and trembling with her passion said, "Come out and dig for a dead man, who's burying somewhere in the ground, and mock him to his face, and then hollow him on with horse and hound, for he is the worst of all dead men." We should be dazed and terror-struck, if we but saw in dreams that room those wine-drenched eyes, and curse our luck, that emptied all our days to come. I knew a woman none could please, because she dreamed when but a child, of men and women made like these, and after, when her blood ran wild, had revealed her own story out, and said, in 2 or in 3 years, I needs must marry some poor lout, and having said it, burst in tears. The Danish troop was driven out, between the dawn and dusk, she said, although the event was long in doubt, although the King of Ireland's dead, and half the kings before sundown, all was accomplished. When this day, Murrogh, the King of Ireland's son, foot after foot was giving way, he and his best troops back to back had perished there, but the Danes ran, stricken with panic from the attack, the shouting of an unseen man, and being thankful Murrogh found, led by a footsole dipped in blood, that had made prints upon the ground, where by old thorn trees that man stood, and though, when he gazed here and there, he had but gazed on thorn trees, spoke, "Who is the friend that seems but air, and yet could give so fine a stroke?" Thereon a young man met his eye, who said, "Because she held me in her love, and would not have me die, rock-nurtured Aoth took a pin, and pushing it into my shirt, promised that for a pin's sake, no man should see to do me hurt. But there it's gone, I will not take the fortune that had been my shame, seeing, king's son, what rounds you have." It was roundly spoke, but when night came, he had betrayed me to his grave, for he and the king's son were dead. I'd promised him 200 years, and when for all I'd done or said, and these immortal eyes shed tears, he claimed his country's need was most, I'd save his life, yet for the sake of a new friend he has turned a ghost. What does he care if my heart break? I call for spade and horse and hound, that we may harry him. Thereon she cast herself upon the ground, and rent her clothes and made her moan. Why are they faithless when their might is from the holy shades that rove the grey rock and the windy light? Why should the faithfulest heart most love the bitter sweetness of false faces? Why must the lasting love what passes, why are the gods by men betrayed? But thereon every god stood up, with a slow smile and without sound, and stretching forth his arm and cup, to where she moans upon the ground, suddenly drenched her to the skin, and she, with Goban's wine adrip, no more remembering what had been, stared at the gods with laughing lip. I have kept my faith, though faith was tried, to that rock-born, rock-wandering foot, and the world's altered since you died, and I am in no good repute. With the loud host before the sea, that sing sword strokes were better meant than lovers' music, let that be, so that the wandering foot's content.
Step one, you say we need to talk. He walks, you say sit down, it's just a talk. He smiles politely back at you. You stare politely right on through some